It was another undefeated regular season for Ohio State in 2020. We're going to project the record for 2021. This is not a prediction, not an official prediction. I want to make that clear. We're simply doing a projection based on the schedule, based on their odds to win each game. And we just kind of group the opponents together in different categories. Again, here is the schedule. 7-1 in 2020, but it was a 6-0 regular season or 5-0 regular season for Ohio State. We're only going to be projecting the regular season. We're not going to look ahead to the potential Big Ten championship game or the college football playoffs. Simply projecting what their regular season record could be in 2021. So this is the scale that we use. If the games are basically 50-50 games, we'll leave them in white, 41 to 59%. And then we have the red games under 10%. 10 to 25% will be in orange, 26 to 40% in yellow, 60 to 74 in purple, 75 to 90 in blue, and then the games where they will be I think more than a 90% chance to win, those will be in green. And when you look at Ohio State, they're going to have a new quarterback, some question marks on defense. So I don't know if this team is going to be an elite team, at least to start the year off. I think they have the players to where they could be an elite team late in the year, but I think there are a lot of games where they could potentially lose, whereas going into last year, it was like, well, it's gonna be a shock if they lose a game. I mean, they're just not gonna lose. This year, yeah, they're probably gonna be favored in every game, but there are some games on the schedule to where you think, they could lose this game. So let's break it down by percentages here, and we start with those games that are above 90%. Only one. I have Akron here. I don't think they have any real issue with Akron. This should be an easy win. Shouldn't have to play the starters too long. There are some other games that you could potentially put in this category, but again, I like to be kind of conservative when I do this. Most of their games are going to be in this next category, between 75% and 90%. Games where they're going to be favored by double digits, probably a couple of touchdowns, maybe 17 points, something like that. Again, that's going to be the majority of this Ohio State schedule. And here you see all the blue. Minnesota on the road. Yeah, it's week 1. Yeah, it's on the road. Yeah, they're going to have a new quarterback. But I'm not overly concerned about this game. I think Ohio State will still be a clear favorite. Now, this is closer to 75% than it is 90%, but I still think that it is a game that we should put in this category. On the other hand, Tulsa, that's a game that you'd probably put closer to 90%. I think you can even make an argument that one should be in the green, but Tulsa was a good team last year, so I'm going to, again, kind of go conservative and put that one in this category. Nebraska on the road, another game where I think Ohio State will be favored by double digits. I would be surprised if they lost any of these games really in the blue. Of course, it's happened in the past, so you never know. But that, again, is a game that Ohio State should win. Purdue, same thing. They're playing them at home. Rutgers on the road, Michigan at home. These are all games that Ohio State should win in 2021. Games where they will be favored by a decent amount. Maryland, the same story. I know Maryland hit some strides last year, but I just don't really see that being too big of a challenge. And even Michigan at the end of the year, yes, it's a rivalry game. Yes, it's on the road, but let's be real here. Michigan has not beaten Ohio State in a long time, and there's really nothing to indicate that they're going to do that in 2021. So that's the majority of the schedule. Again, Ohio State has a very favorable schedule. They're going to be big favorites, I think double-digit favorites in 9 of their 12 games. That leaves Oregon, Indiana, and Penn State. So what do we do with these 3 games? I still think Ohio State will be favored in these 3 games, but I think it's closer, again, to that 60% mark. These will be games where I think Ohio State's going to be favored by 7 or 8 points, maybe closer to 10. It's hard to say right now. Oregon, this is a team with talent, but the game is at Ohio State. You look at Oregon last year, I mean, they didn't look like a team that was real close to being able to compete with the elite teams in college football. I don't think they're super far away, but again, this is a game I think Ohio State is the clear favorite. Indiana played Ohio State really tough. The game is on the road. This, I think, will potentially be the toughest game on the schedule for Ohio State, but they're still going to be favored. They're still talent-wise way ahead of Indiana. Yes, they could lose this game. They could lose, I think, any of these games, but it would be an upset, and I think the Buckeyes will be favored again by about a touchdown. And same thing for Penn State. Now, I really expect Penn State to be better this year. If they're about as good as they were last year, then this game shouldn't be close. And Ohio State really we should bump this one up into that 75 to 90% category. But I'm anticipating Penn State turning it around a little bit. I think this will be a pretty good team next year. You look at how they finished the year last year. So these 3 games, again, will be the games where if they're going to lose, if they're going to slip up somewhere, it's probably going to be Oregon, Indiana, or Penn State. I would be surprised if they lost to anyone else. And so when we project the record, we average this out. The way I do it, and I have a formula, if it's in the blue or the green, that's counted as a win. I don't even consider those games potential losses. Then we just average out the other games. And when you do that, when you got 3 games, and the number I use here is 60%, when you have 3 games where you're going to be favored but not by a lot, chances are you're going to slip up and lose one of those games. I'm not predicting that to happen. I'm just saying that's what the odds would tell you. So yes, 1 loss for Ohio State. Their projected record, 11-1 in 2001. I don't think they do any worse than that. To me, that's probably about as worst case scenario, because I think it's very possible this team could once again go 12-0. But it's going to be, in my opinion, 11-1 or 12-0. That will be the record. One of those 2 records is what it's going to be for Ohio State in 2021. Do you guys agree? What do you think about this? Give me your thoughts down in the comments below.